Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television talk show where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 p.m. That's on the Central Time Zone, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. It's always such a fun ride. You can find us on television, and that is on Abundance Television Syndicated, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. You can also find the podcast on thenewscasters.com and all the social media sites. We're still doing all of those. So you can find us on Facebook.com/DFeazell, X, YouTube, the whole works. But again, thank you so much for watching. Continue sending emails, by the way. That's Donna@DonnasEdge.com, Donna@DonnasEdge.com. Definitely appreciate all the email messages that you guys sent. So I've received some messages from business owners, and they're talking about, you know, there's so many concerns about keeping good employees. And this is mainly for the small business person. And, you know, a lot of you small business folks, I'll tell you this from experience. It doesn't matter if your competitor is the biggest competitor in the area. They're not going to drown you out as long as you have good customer service. And that comes from not just from you, but from all of your employees as well. So I found an article, and this is from Indeed.com. Indeed.com. Give them some kudos. This is really good. I really love the strategies they have. How can I retain my employees? 10 effective strategies. So let's just go ahead and get started, because if you've got the right employees, it's not only going to save you money, it's going to save your business. Definitely it'll do that. So let's talk about why it's important to have good employees. And we just mentioned some of it, but increased productivity is just another reason. If they feel like they have a reason to get up in the morning or whenever they do go into work, and they feel like you appreciate them, that's one thing. But let's keep them in place. So let's find out how we can do this. Number one, they say create an engaging onboarding process. Now, what does that mean? Okay, that means right when they get started, okay? So let's see what Indeed says about this. During the onboarding process, take the opportunity to make a positive first impression on new employees. So you want to create a process where the new employees gets comfortable into the workplace. So you want to do this by creating straightforward training materials. That'll make sense. And it doesn't have to be a bunch of garbage. The less better, okay? Sometimes we overdo it. Do this by creating straightforward training materials, offering support and guidance, and explaining how the company operates. They need to know why. They need to know the why for your company as well. Okay, introducing new employees to others in the office can make them feel like they're part of the team right away. Taking them out for a team lunch is another way to make new hires feel welcome. Also help to get them to know their coworkers very quickly. Now, let me tell you what can happen. Sometimes rumors get started in the workplace. I know you're, really, Donna? Yes, really. Now, if you hire somebody and you kind of keep that person away from the other employees, it's going to say two things. First of all, the new employee hire is going to wonder, are they really planning on keeping me here for long term? Because they're wondering, you haven't introduced me to anyone. Then your existing employees could be thinking, ooh, this could be somebody hired to take my place. So you got to really, really be careful on how you bring that new person in. Okay, that makes a huge difference, because if right from the get-go they feel threatened, or if right from the get-go your present employees feel threatened, it's not going to work out. Now, let's talk about pairing with a mentor. This is extremely important as well. So a strategy to pair an employee with a mentor can start at the onboarding process. It's a good way to help new employees feel welcome, absolutely, and know they have someone to turn to. However, mentorship shouldn't be offered just to new employees. This needs to be an ongoing thing, because everybody can benefit from this. Okay, and those supported also by experienced teammates. Now, sometimes people wonder, am I mentoring someone to take my place? And that actually happened to me. And it was a really small TV station, so it really didn't matter. But I was living in a small town, and it was the only thing I could get right there at the moment. And I mean, I could see because the place he was renting, again, very small television station, but the person that he had to come in to be a co-host with me, her husband owned the building. And so I felt from the get-go, man, he wants me to train her. And I did the right thing. I went on ahead and trained her. Unfortunately, it didn't work out with them. The TV station is out of business. But the employees don't need to feel threatened. Okay, you need to treat your employee like you would your spouse. Okay, you don't want your spouse to feel threatened. You don't want to feel threatened. Think about that, because it's kind of like you're married to your employees. You probably spend more time with them than you do at home anyway. But think about the way you start off the new employee into the environment, meeting other people, and then it's kind of a catch-22, because not only are you looking at the new employee, but also the existing employees as well. So you want everybody to feel comfortable about what happens. And I'll have to tell you something this. I didn't put up with rumors in the workplace when we had our stores. I just didn't put up with it. Because all that's going to do is create jealousy and animosity. So if you'll get rid of the person who starts the rumors, you're going to be much better off. Okay, schedule employee performance reviews. That's really important. I always wanted reviews when I worked for companies. I wanted to know what I was doing wrong. I wanted to know what I was doing right. But I also wanted to know what I might be doing wrong. That way I could correct it. Because, I was on a commission field, okay? I wanted to do the best I possibly could for the company. I treated it like I owned it, but I also wanted to know, what can I do differently? Okay, now employee performance reviews are a great way for employees to grow into their roles. So meet periodically to discuss their strengths, weaknesses, and career goals. I worked for places before where I never got a review, and I was constantly wondering, am I doing okay? Am I? Yes, set the precedent right up front, okay? And mention that you'll have regular reviews. And also leave that door open just in case they want to come to you for reviews, and because we can all learn from each other, right? Sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees, but it hurts. This is how you become a team. This is how you become a very successful team. Offering positive feedback during this meeting can help employees feel valued and more satisfied at work. Now, if the budget allows, use a performance review as a time to offer employees raises or bonuses. Now, let me tell you how I had one of my in the first time I was in my first job in the corporate world, I had a great boss. Her name was Kathy. So Kathy would give regular reviews as well. And here I was as green as they come. It was my first management job. I needed all the help I could get. But she had the perfect strategy. What Kathy would do is she'd start off with something good you had done. And she believed in telling you what you were doing wrong too. And that's the only way you're ever going to learn. And again, sometimes we can't see the forest for the trees, and we don't know we're doing something off the wall. So she would start out the strategy with something good that I had done. Then she would work herself into maybe something I could improve on. And that's exactly how she would put it. She would say, you're doing a great job, but I think you can improve on whatever that was. Now, she didn't end it there. That was not the end of the review. She would also back it up with something she felt I was doing good at. And that's how you want to do it. That's how you retrain them. That way, and it's coming from my side of the coin, my side, I felt like I was a valued employee. And, think about that. I felt very valued. I felt like even though I'd made a mistake, it could be corrected. And she was just like the best. I learned so much under her leadership. And you can do the same thing again. And if you're mad about something with an employee, and it's going to happen from time to time. Anytime you're dealing with people, that's just going to happen. Don't go into a meeting mad. Just don't do that, because you're going to say things you should not say. And so, just be careful with that. Now, this is something you could also, if like in your church, if you want to talk with someone about something that needs to be corrected, use the same strategies. Even with your kids, do the same thing. It works. It really works. Show your appreciation. Oh man, sometimes we just so busy, that we just don't take the time to show our appreciation. We do that at home too, right? And sometimes we just get so busy into it. And, and then we also think, well, they know I appreciate them. They probably do, but also good. It's good to hear it from your mouth. It really is. So do appreciate the employees. And when an employee is doing a good job, has recently earned a big achievement, you want to recognize their hard work. You can show their appreciation by saying it directly to them or making a company-wide announcement. That's a good way to do it. When employees feel their efforts are noticed, they are more likely to continue to work hard and stay with the company. So I worked for a company one time, and it's like these people gave out certificates for everything. And you would think, well, it's just a certificate. That's not that big of a deal. But it really is. You feel valued when you're an employee. So I carried that on with me when we had our Nextel stores. And Phil and I, and we really believed we had monthly meetings. Now, sometimes something would come up, they did a new strategy, and we would have something maybe with one particular store or another. But I'm talking about our company-wide meetings. And we always like to have those in one of the stores. Or we might, if we just wanted to get away from it all and not have the phones ringing, we would go to a hotel and rent out one of their boardrooms. And that's a good way you can do it too. But we always gave out certificates. And again, it made them feel valued because they were. Okay. How about this one? When you're showing your appreciation, and we'll carry on with this one just a little bit farther. You can show your appreciation saying it directly, or again, making the company-wide announcement. Now, when employees feel their efforts are noticed, they're going to work actually harder for you, and they're also going to stay with the company. It's just the way it goes. Those little company-wide meetings also are a great way for you just to ask a question and sit back and get your answer. You'll be amazed at the things you can learn that they need that you haven't noticed. And most of the time, it's something that doesn't cost you a dime. It could mean like, well, Donna, I just don't feel appreciated here anymore. Don't say a word. Well, you can ask why. You need to do that. Say why. Because if you don't say anything, they're going to think, wow, she really doesn't appreciate me, or he doesn't. So just find out. It just could be something tiny, but to them is a huge thing. Let's go into a commercial break, and we'll return in just a few minutes. We have more strategies to keep those great.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community. Whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need, toys at Christmas, or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
Donna's Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319, and let's think of the possibilities.
Okay, we're back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge television talk show. Thank you so much for watching. It's Monday through Friday, or anytime you want to. If you want to go ahead and check us out on YouTube or on Facebook or X or any of those other ways that you can find us. But we definitely appreciate your input, and we appreciate your emails. Donna@donnasedge.com. Donna@donnasedge.com. And there's no apostrophe S. Okay, it's just plain old run it through Donna@donnasedge.com. So we're talking about how to retain employees, and we had some really good strategies. We've already talked about these, and it's creating an engaging onboarding process. Make them feel comfortable from the get-go. You know, you need to show your strengths. Okay, don't appear like a pushover. You know, don't be overly friendly, but do show them they're welcome to the team. Also pair them with a mentor. Maybe you have, and this is going to make this employee feel really good too. So let's just say it's a sales position, and this person is really good at closing sales. I mean, they are super sharp. They've been with you. They've got the success to show. They've won trips, whatever. Get that person to mentor the others. Okay. And another thing, just pay them a little added bonus for doing that, you know, because some people feel a little bit nervous about that. I don't want to give away all my trade secrets, you know, because you're thinking, oh my God, they may replace me someday. I don't want to give all that away. But show your appreciation, give them a gift, give them some kind of a bonus, maybe a gift card to go out to eat on, something like that, something a little bit extra, you know. But now this is important too. Don't take away from their time. Okay. Don't expect them to spend 2 hours with them. I'm talking about sessions of about 15 minutes. I think that would be good. Okay, scheduling the employee performance reviews. We got to do that. Make everybody feel appreciated by showing your appreciation too, by the way. You know, they're not just a person sitting there occupying time and being paid by the hour. You know, you need to give appreciation also. If you have a gatekeeper, I call him the gatekeeper. It's the person who's going to allow the folks to come in if it's in a business situation. You got a great gatekeeper. Did you know that can be the true success of your organization? If you've got somebody who's friendly, but you know, they know how to do this, you know, the people who are coming in, but you have someone who's very friendly when they answer the telephone. That's another important thing. That person needs to be singled out and appreciated. Okay, show you your appreciation. Now, I told you we've got 10 strategies. So let's go ahead and get started with number 5. Okay, encourage a work-life balance. You know, back in the olden days, back in the old corporate days, it was all work. It was all work, you know, and nobody ever talked about their family life. Now, I'm not talking about spending all time talking about your ex and stuff like that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this kind of environment. People can have pictures of their kids on their desk, or they can have a picture of their spouse on their desk, their dog, their cat, whatever tricks them, that and puts them out there, and they feel like they're wanted. They feel like they're part of the organization. So a healthy work-life balance is when employees can effectively manage their work and home lives and feel like they have enough time and energy for both. Because I'm just telling you, it can sap the energy out. If a person doesn't feel appreciated on the job, those are the people who are going to be a train wreck. Now, this element has become more increasingly important to many employers. Okay, you can help employees achieve a more balanced work-life experience by giving staff more flexibility with their schedules. And I would do that with my employees. So if you had somebody that, say, had to be home to catch the kids, when they get off the school bus, try to work that schedule out with them if you can. If you can't, you need to explain to them why you can't. Nowadays, people are working with less employees. And so maybe you can't do that, but try as much as you can to work with their home life. Consider allowing employees to come in late if that's the possibility, and make up their work if they need to leave for an appointment. Okay, if possible, give employees the option to work remotely. That can help. Employees who are feeling sick but can still work, or those that have a long commute, may appreciate the opportunity to work from home occasionally. I'm going to say I'm loving it. I didn't dig it when we first started doing this when COVID came in, but I actually like working out of my home. It's refreshing. I actually get more work done by doing that. I have less commute time, and I've got more time, and sometimes I wind up working a lot more hours than I would if I were working somewhere anyway. But think about that balance, okay? They're more likely to stay with a company when they feel like they have a manager who really cares about them. Now, it's not just the managers, okay? So if you own the business and you walk in, you don't speak to the employees, they're not going to feel very, very welcome, okay? So you put on your best smile when you walk into the business. Okay, now offer professional development opportunities. A lot of folks want to further their degree, and maybe they want to take a workshop somewhere. Maybe you, I don't know, you're in sales, you have a sales organization, and they found a course, or you found a course online. Maybe you could pay for it, or maybe offer money back, and this is really important. What if you have somebody you just really think they're going to be there at this event? Maybe it's going to cost you a couple $100 to send them, and you don't know them that well yet. Okay, they've just been with the organization a couple of weeks, and you haven't really learned their character yet. Have them pay for it, and then promise you're going to reimburse it. But if you promise it, you got to do it. And this helps just in case they don't show up. It's money out of their pocket if they don't show up for the event. That can happen. It's happened in my business before. Helping employees meet their professional goals and offer professional development opportunities may influence them to stay with the company because they see it as a place with many opportunities. You can help them by spending time coaching and mentoring team members. Also, you want to offer the team additional training or education opportunities such as funding certifications. That's really important. A lot of you guys who have those, hands-on jobs, if you get a certification, that's going to help your employee also to earn more money. And remember, the more educated the employee, the more it's going to benefit you also. Okay, so it's not just about them, it's about you too. All right, update equipment. I can't say how important this is. I worked for a company one time where the computers were so incredibly old. It's like I spent most of the time waiting on it to power up or turning it off. So make sure that you got good computers in there. They don't cost near as much as they used to. By the way, Phil's first computer, I think, was somewhere around $5,000, something like that. If you gave that to somebody now, they'd laugh at you. But anyway, that's back when we had DOS and all that kind of stuff. Now, it was a long time ago, like 30 years ago. Okay, whenever possible, promote from within. That's another thing you got to do if you possibly can. By investing in your team, they may develop their skills and take on more responsibilities. So both of which can lead to improved employee retention. What's tough is now, if you don't have anybody who can fill the shoes and can move up in the company, if you don't have anybody right that moment, that's okay. But I'm just saying, try your best to promote from within. So it encourages this as well. So you have somebody say who starts out with your company and they start at the very, very bottom of the totem pole. But man, they say, wow, I got this job because somebody moved up. Maybe I'll have a way to move up in the company. And sometimes it's a title people want. Sometimes people care less about the money. They want to be recognized with a title. You just never know what that's going to do. All right, let's get on with the next one. Provide competitive compensation and the benefits. Yeah. When we had our cell phone business, we actually paid more per sale than all my competitors did. Yeah, I had people who would leave me and go to work for a competitor and then want to come back. Usually if they did that, I didn't take them back. I was afraid they'd get bad habits. You know what I mean? Okay, in a competitive job market, it's essential that you reward your employees with adequate compensation and benefits when you can. Now, don't go overboard if you can't afford it. If you can't afford salary adjustments, consider giving some kind of a bonus. That's a good thing right there. Adding a retirement plan or improving health care benefits helps. You might offer reimbursement for fitness classes. They're going to feel better. Okay, they're getting fit. Also, schedule talks on stress management or retirement planning services. Maybe have somebody from a retirement service come in and talk to everybody. All will help raise the employee's job satisfaction and encourage them to stay within your company. There's a grocery store chain called Piggly Wiggly. And there's another one I forgot. But anyway, what they do is their employees actually own a small percentage of the company. And they are able to retain employees that way. If you can do that, that's a great thing. So let them, even if it's just 1%, if it's 0.5%, if it's whatever, as long as they feel like they're earning something for their future, they're going to hang around with you too. Okay, now let's talk about this one. Oh, I got to hurry. Implement team building activities. When employees feel like they're connected to one another, they can look for each other for support and the guidance. Now, I'm not talking the rumor mill type at the coffee maker. I'm talking about inspiring them to stay with your company longer because they feel like they're part of the team. To help employees connect, encourage collaboration and cooperation among those team members. Never, ever pit one team member against another one. And yeah, that was when I was in the corporate world, that's what my boss would do. He would team people against each other. All that did is added animosity and it added problems. I didn't pay him any attention. I knew what he was doing, but I saw him doing that so many times. When employees work together in harmony, they may feel more relaxed and happy at work. People feel like they're under the gun all the time. Help everyone get to know each other better by facilitating team building activities. Maybe find, like what we did, like a lot of the Toys for Tots and stuff like that, where we would actually raise money for a charity. That's a great way to do team building. And everybody wants to be recognized. Your business wants to be recognized out in your settlement out there in your area. That's a great way to do it. Okay, offer more perks. Now, perks, various kinds, can boost employees' morale and keep your employees engaged. Say for a 1% increase, I'm going to give you a $20 gift certificate or to a nice restaurant in town, or $100 or whatever you feel like doing. Keep communication lines open. Oh boy, this is one right here. Okay, and it's extremely important that you do keep that communication line open. Your employees need to feel that they can come to you. If there's a situation arising, maybe they know somebody's stealing from the company, I would want my employees to tell me about it. If they're going to continue stealing, or if they know an employee who is, and that continues on, all because they're afraid you're going to think they're a tattle, something that's not the way to run a company. It needs to be open lines of communications with all of your employees. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge television talk show where truth matters. I appreciate you listening to us every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 2 p.m. on the Eastern Time Zone. And you can also watch us anytime you want to at YouTube and also Facebook and X and all the other social media sites. We appreciate that. The newscasters.com is another way you can find us as well. Thank you again so much for watching.